Good day, everyone. My name is BenitoUy, and I'm going to talk about the scientific revolution and one of its key figures, which is Isaac Newton. So here are some guide questions that will be answered in this presentation. The scientific revolution is a sequence of events that mark the early modern period's emergence of modern science, which include advancement in physics, mathematics, astronomy, chemistry, and biology. So in this revolution, developments that happen in various branches of science that revolutionize the existing way of doing things. So there is also the significant shift in the scientific thought that occurred in the 16th century and the 17th century. A new point of view on nature emerges, having to replace the Greek point of view that ruled science for nearly 2,000 years. So we can say that this revolution showed the power of the mind, the capacity of key figures to reach their own conclusion instead of disregarding to instill authority validated the individual's worth and capabilities. So next is the scientific revolution overturned the Aristotelian approach to pave the way for modern science. The Aristotelian approach means it includes knowledge that are obvious and require no further explanation or proof. The scientific revolution also paved the way for numerous important discoveries and innovation by introducing a more logical description of physics along with along with understood laws of motion and gravity. In the field of biology, key figures of the scientific revolution made great advances studying into the human body to another level. This knowledge resulted in the advancement of disease prevention and treatment. There is also the invention of tools that advance scientific understanding, and this includes the refracting and reflecting telescope, mechanical calculator, vacuum pump, or mercury barometer. Lastly, this revolution resulted in the development in mathematics, physics, astronomy, biology, and chemistry by emphasizing systematic experimentation as the most valid research method. These developments altered society's perception of the world. So, what are the controversies faced by the scientific revolution? Religion, religion presented all founded knowledge, making new scientific ideas controversial. The Roman Catholic Church upheld considerable power back then. Prior to the birth and development of science, everyone looked up to the church and accepted all of the church beliefs and teachings. The rise of the scientific revolution resulted into an intense debate between science and religion. So one of the reason for this was that scientific ideas conflicts with the church teachings. And the second reason would be that people oppose church teachings weaken the church. Officials in the Catholic Church worried that as people began to accept scientific ideas, they would start to doubt the church. There is also the controversy about the gender and racial hierarchies, which were also reinforced by ideas from the scientific revolution. Scientists attempted to classify humans based on skin color, just as some scientists attempted to classify plants and animals. This concept was expanded upon the 18th and 19th century, frequently to justify imperialism and slavery. Lastly, the scientific revolution primarily limited to a small group of people, and most were wealthy and well educated, and half of the population was excluded as women were traditionally denied to access to scientific communities. Women's thinking back then was thought to be too emotional and unscientific to produce objective truth. So, despite their limited access, women have made significant contribution to scientific knowledge. So, some of the key figures of the scientific revolution includes René Descartes, Galileo Galilei, Francis Bacon, and Sir Isaac Newton. But today, I will be emphasizing on Isaac Newton. Sir Isaac Newton was a great philosopher and English scientist. With his curiosity, he observed the world and the universe surrounding him and attempted to explain the natural phenomena. Newton co-developed calculus along with Gottfried Leibniz, and he also formulated the three basic laws of motion which tell us exactly how things move or remain at rest. There is also the universal gravitational law, which has been effective in explaining many occurrences such as how different objects in the universe affect one another. Newton is considered a the father of optics because Newton's discovery of elements that make up white lights in optics allowed for the integration of color phenomena into the study of light and established the foundation of physical optics. He left humanity with a scientific legacy that established him as one of the greatest thinkers of all time. With Newton's discoveries, Newton laid the foundation of our scientific age. Much of modern physics and engineering is based on his laws of motion and theory of gravity. As a result, Newton's contribution transformed how we perceive and comprehend the world around us. He went to inspire other key figures such as Joseph Louis Lagrange and Albert Einstein. Therefore, Newton indirectly influenced the impact of later scientists' discoveries on society. His laws and theories are incorporated into the curriculum taught to today's students, laying the groundwork for future discoveries. Newton was respected during his lifetime for discovering the law of gravity and motion and inventing calculus because he contributed to the development of our rational worldview. Newton's contribution prompted governments to invest in space program. This space program is continuing to gain more knowledge in order to answer important questions about the history of our solar system and our place in the universe. And lastly, an example of practical application of Newton's contribution in calculus, wherein calculus can figure out the exact length of power cable required to connect two substations that are miles apart. This enhances the architecture that includes not only in buildings but also in bridges. There is also the application of law of motion. So when you jump, the earth reacts to the force and your feet exerts on the ground by exerting an equal and opposite force, lifting you into the air. Likewise, when someone is submerged in water, the water pushes the person forward as the person pushes the water back. So therefore, both have an effect on one another. In optics, our remote is equipped with a small laser developed by optic research that shoots across the room to the TV sensor. A sensor utilizes optics technology, and when it is triggered, a signal is sent to the TV, enabling it to turn on automatically. In addition, photography would also not be possible without optics. Optics plays a vital role in the creation of image because photography depends on light and shadow for creating images, regardless of how technology advanced it may be. Last and finally is the practical application of the universal gravitation. Newton's universal law of gravitation is significant because it explains how gravity affects us and our movements on Earth. Gravity keeps us on Earth, allowing us to live rather than fly through the air and space. Another application is that the force that causes an apple to fall towards to the ground is exactly the same force that causes the moon to orbit the Earth. So, in conclusion, Newton's contributions are fascinating and have a major impact on how people live their daily lives. He has made a significant contribution to the field of science, and without his discoveries, humans might not fully comprehend the world. That's all for my presentation. Thank you.